Okay, welcome to the shop. Today we're going to build this deep, heavy-duty planter. It's made out of deck boards, so it's really built like a tank. The reason for that is that it holds a ton of dirt because it's so deep. This is the most versatile design that we have. You can really go up to about 8 feet with these, which is what the original ones were. In which case you would cut the front and back to 92 inches instead of, I believe these ones are 44, but you'll see that in the video. I call these the boomer planters, not because you should plant a boomer in it, but because you don't have to bend down, and boomers really like them for that reason, that they could go out in the garden and not have to bend down, which is why they are so high. And with the 8-footer, you can really hold a ton in there. I just didn't want to have to deal with an 8-footer because these ones do sell a little bit more now. All right, now let's get to it. Okay, so here's our 8 deck boards. I got these 4 separated because I'm going to use them for the front, the back, and the sides because they blend together pretty well. These 2 aren't too bad, so I'm going to use them for the legs and the trim. And these 2 are the worst ones of the bunch, so they're going to be used for the bottom and any place I need the extra supports, like the runners on the bottom of the box, because you're not going to see them because they're not very nice. Here's all our fronts and backs. So now we're going to do the sides. Here's all our sideboards. Okay, here's our 4 legs. I cut them down to size before putting them through the table saw because I hate putting 8-foot boards through the table saw unless I absolutely have to. So we're going to put what's left over here and the legs through the table saw and rip them down to 2.5 inches, which is going to give us a little sliver left over. Okay, so we got all our pieces laid out there, and the other one's leaning against the wall there. So before I assemble this is optional, but it's ideal if you do it. I'm going to put wood preservative on all of the cuts. So all of the ends that are cut, and then the ones that I ripped in half, I'm going to do them, but I'm going to leave 4 of the leg pieces untreated because they got to get glued to board kind of like that. So we don't want to glue the wood preservative, we want to glue the wood to the wood. Okay, so use a piece of your half board there that we've ripped, and then just use that to assemble it on. So I'm going to pre-drill all of this before I put the adhesive on because the adhesive is slippery. Okay, I'll do that 3 more times. I'm using 2-inch deck screws. Deck boards are exactly 1-inch deck because they're 5/4 planed down to 1 inch. So I can't drive them in all the, I can go in all the way, I just can't go any extra distance or the point will start going to the other side. If you can use 1 3/4 inch screws, that would be great. Just I can't get them easily here. And I feel like 1.5 is just a little shorter than I would like it to be. So you gotta kind of make up your mind what you want to use for that. Okay, so if you got any squeeze out, just wipe it off now. When it dries, it tends to blend in with the wood fairly well, so you don't have to worry too much about it. You just don't want to have any huge blobs of it. And we take two of them and we put them this way down, because we're going to fasten the boards to this side first because there's a lot less meat on that side. And then when we do the sides, there's a lot of meat there too. You'll see as we do it. So put the nicest side down. I'll get close to the inside to avoid getting any extra squeeze out. Okay, so I'm going to pre-drill these ones because it's really close to the end of the board and I don't want to split it. Okay, there's one side done, and do it again. Okay, so this is one of our bottom stringers. I am going to put the factory sides up just because it's better protected than the part that we cut and put the wood preservative on. Okay, set this one aside. Okay, so face your nicest side down. And then pre-drill the holes because it's just going to be much easier this way. Okay, so I pre-drilled these holes and I forgot that I already put that on there, so I can't get at this one, so I'm just quite simply going to drill another hole. If you don't have a clamp, it's no big deal. It's just easier with a clamp. Okay, so I've dry fit everything in the bottom, and that's the space that we have left. This is obviously not going to fit, so I got to rip it down to about 3.5. Okay. The last boards, we got drainage between the cracks of the boards. You can fasten these in if you want to. All right, 1.5 inch galvanized brad nails. Okay, so when you're making the trim for this one, just make sure that you keep the round over factory edge on the outside. Then it's going to fit together real nice. Okay, so I'm going to use PL Premium to put the top on here because I guarantee you at some point somebody's going to try to lift the thing from the trim. So, you know, I'm ripping the trim off, do you? Okay, so here's your 2 leftover pieces. We are going to cut them at 11 inches. If you are building an 8-foot version of this, put a board across here just to keep it from wanting to do the splits because there's a lot of pressure in there for the 8-footer. Probably unnecessary for this one, but I had those 2 pieces and why not? Okay, so a lot of versatility with this one. You can pretty much do any dimensions that you want. I would just say that if you go over 8 feet, put a leg in the middle just to take the extra weight. But you can go extra wide, extra long, doesn't really matter. Of course, if you don't need it to be this deep, you can just go 2 boards deep instead of 3. And if you want to save some money, if you're only going to go 2 deep, you could switch these out for fence boards for the sides and the top. Maybe the legs, I don't know. I like to leave the legs with deck boards just because it's the one part that takes all the strength, but that would be totally up to you. The way that you build it is extremely simple. It's a little bit expensive because deck boards are expensive, but this is when you build one that you absolutely want it to last a really long time. And the trade-off for it being expensive for the wood is it's pretty easy to build. We have links for all the tools used to build this down in the description. And well, let's see if I can get my old body in here just to make sure that it's nice and solid. Think that'll handle it? Okay, in my area, I can get about $225 Canadian for this. It costs about $100 Canadian to make. I think it's gonna be about the same in American based on what I saw your price at the Home Depot. Let me know how much you can get for it in your area. Some people have been saying that I'm definitely saying too much money for things. I live in Northern Ontario where Toronto's cottages are. So if I were to travel an hour south from here, I would get $350 for it. So I'm kind of balancing it out here. If I tried to sell it to the locals here, they wouldn't give me $30 for it, but I have cottagers, so try not to judge me too harshly. So if you like this, please make sure that you subscribe, like, leave us a comment, and if you want to see more content like this, click on one of those boxes. Thank you for watching.